Hello, everyone. This is Sean A. Barksdale of the 10 Minutes of Truth podcast. We are here at the Assembly in Norfolk, Virginia, as we prepare for some very powerful and impactful testimonies. Ms. Sherri Wiggins, how are you today?
I'm fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
It's an honor.
Thank you very much. How long have you actively been in recovery?
17 years and 3 weeks and 2 days.
years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. That's big. So, with that being said, what drives you? What was your drive to stay focused like that for 17 years?
So, my fear of going back was greater than my fear of moving forward. And what I mean by that is the life I was living in active addiction, I didn't want to live that life anymore. It was just animalistic and just surviving. You know, every day was surrounded by how I'm going to get high again.
Yes, right.
You know, so I lost social skills, and friends that I had that I grew up with, they didn't know that person. And they, you know, most of them prayed for me because they didn't understand addiction. I was in the middle and didn't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. How did you rekindle or build those relationships back?
So, when I went to active addiction, I walked away from my home. And I never involved them directly, because indirectly they were involved because they were concerned and worried. My family and close friends that I grew up with from childhood, and I stayed away from them because I didn't want to completely tear the relationships up with a whole lot of lies and, you know, hurting them as far as, you know, lying about trying to get money or needing some place to stay and knowing I'm not going to do it right. And so in my story, incarceration was part of my story. And, you know, at the beginning, you don't really blame yourself, so I blamed everybody that I got arrested. But during my recovery process, it was a rescue. And it was like nothing had happened, but they always watched to see if this is what I really was going to do. You know what I mean? And I understand that they were protecting their hearts.
That's right. That's right. With you saying that you didn't take accountability in the beginning, which we never do, right?
No.
How did accountability help to shape your journey to get here? So,
my using began in preteens. I wanted to be part of my older brothers and sisters. But I had a lot of abuses, verbally and physically and sexually, so I wanted to numb all that pain. And then that became part of how I lived until it got just completely out of hand. When I was in a jail cell, I realized, you know, I was the only one that got me here. Now, how can I get out of this? You know, and for a couple of times, that's what I did. I just did whatever it was to get out. And the last time I was, this is not who I want to be. This is not how I want to live. But I just didn't know how I needed to get to that point. And then I finally broke down and asked for help. And I'm a person that needs help. So I had to fight guilt, shame, and pride. See, the pride stopped you from asking, and then you too ashamed to say you're totally out of control. And it got to a point where I didn't want to go on. And I was too scared to take myself out, but I didn't want to get taken out. So, you know, I told the judge, I need help.
Right.
And they seen it. They said, well, I'm glad you finally realized, because we didn't know you did. And I giggled too, but, inside I felt a freedom that it was in the universe now. I exposed myself. And it's scary to be that vulnerable around a lot of people you don't know, and definitely around a lot of people you do know, because I had family that had came there to support me. Right. That's the fortunate piece. I was a single mother. I was with my children's father, and we planned to get married, but that didn't work. He introduced me to the substance of choice, or the substance I preferred. And my kids, they were really young, like 3 and 4, so they didn't understand. And then I got myself together and went to another bad relationship and didn't want to cope. When you stay in something past the expiration date, it kind of gets ugly and messy.
That's right.
And then I went back in again. So, but I explained to them, I'm sick. This is an illness. I do know that. Now, how I get well, I don't know. But I never allowed them to see the things that I did. And so I thought that would make it better, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't stop them from wanting to be with their mother.
Right.
And that was one of the things. It was a lot of things, wanting to, be reconnected with my family, wanting a job. I wanted to work, but I didn't want. I wasn't in shape to work. I would go to work, get a job, and leave at lunch and never come back. So I wasn't even responsible enough to do that. And then I started going to treatment. I went through recovery court because I said I'm a manipulator and I can talk. And I'm a people person, so I can get out of things. I need to be challenged in this journey. It's really uncomfortable, and it definitely was. And the beauty of it and the grace God gave me in that was I work with the administrator now. I work at the same agency that I got the help.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing. How long have you been there?
I started as a peer recovery specialist in 2016.
Nice.
Nice. And I finished the program in 2010. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I want to back up because I heard something, and I heard a pattern.
Yes.
So for me, as an adverse childhood experience instructor, I teach ACEs. I go back into the prisons, into the community, right? So I heard you talk about abuse as a child, right? And how that shaped your mind, right?
Yes.
Your brain. And it really shaped the relationships that you had with men, because you talked about the men that, introduced you to the substance of choice. I want to speak to that, and I want you to speak to the community and young ladies that have found themselves in the same predicaments because of what they went through as children. It seemed like you have to please, right? So what did that journey look like for you as far as the men you chose?
So my father was a very good provider. He was an alcoholic. So 85% of my childhood with him, he was altered. So it was rarely to see the 15%. He was very intelligent. So in my mind, just from the actions, the physical actions, I'm not going to get a man like that. Because as being a child and a teenager and a young adult, you don't see the psychological part.
Correct.
And so I was still drawn to a man that I had to care for. I had to overcompensate. I had to accommodate in ways as far as emotionally, and be more of a supporter and not take care of myself. And then I felt isolated, lonely. and so it was easier to go out. Young women today have so many more opportunities. I grew up in an era where what goes on at home stays at home.
Correct.
So now they have more of a voice. Of course, you don't understand being hurt by someone you love, because that molestation did happen in my childhood,
right.
and my father was the perpetrator. Right. But you can still get out of that if you believe that you're strong enough to get out of it, because you're resilient because you survived it. But young women today do have more choices to be able to ask for help, be able to share with their friends. You couldn't share that.
Yeah.
If I could have shared that and just got a different perspective, I might have been able to make a different choice. I might have been able to look and see the warning signs, but I wasn't, because I was closed-mouthed, and I turned that inward, and outwardly it came out in anger. So I was always angry.
Yep.
And defensive.
Yep.
But today, I see women that are young ladies being able to speak up for themselves. I still have seen women be in relationships that they're being dominated and going through abuse, but they do have friends that tell them, you don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to accept mistreatment in order to feel whole. Love starts with self.
That's right.
I had to learn that.
That's right.
I always wanted to be loved, so I was willing to do whatever it took to be loved. But it starts with self, and I had to learn that. That's a journey.
That's a journey in itself.
That's a journey in itself.
Correct. And we're still on it.
Yeah, I'm still on it.
Right.
Setting boundaries with myself.
Yep.
I had to stop always being available for everyone else and going home exhausted and tired. And so I see that there are more opportunities now for self-help groups, joining the clubs. I was in the Girl Scouts, but you didn't talk about that.
That's right.
I was in dance clubs. I was in a civic club when I was a young lady. We still didn't talk about those things. I've seen my girlfriends get abused and try to help and got abused with them.
Wow.
So, trying to stop the abuse. And then we just didn't talk about it. We went out and we just went to the club and put makeup over the scars.
Right.
So today I don't see a lot of that.
Right.
There is still abuse out, but we do things in this venue to be able to bring awareness.
That's right.
This is solely for the individual that doesn't know they can receive help, and help is truly out there. That's why I love being a peer recovery specialist. I'm telling you, it's like, ooh.
It ain't nothing like it.
I don't have to hide behind anything.
That's right.
And I'm trying not to get emotional. I don't have to hide.
That's right.
Because of what I went through, I can see your pain. I can see that. And I never had a job that I can help somebody and be truly transparent and guide them just by sharing bits and pieces of my story.
That's right.
And allowing them to feel heard, like they have a voice.
That's right.
Telling them it's okay not to be okay.
That's right. Because
I didn't hear that slogan till 2 or 3 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a middle-aged person.
Right.
So that's a long time to be able to connect that I don't have to be okay, and that's all right, just for the moment.
That's right.
So it takes a lot to be able to just be this transparent and let somebody see when I'm vulnerable. And it's okay. It's okay to share a tear, because the most intimate relationship that I have, just me, is my recovery.
Yep.
Because it has to come first.
It does.
And it's hard when you want to give and share a lot. And I mean share of yourself and your time and being of service.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to set boundaries with myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm still learning though.
We're still learning. We're
I'm
gonna
still
learn till we
learning.
get that ground.
Yeah. And that's what I love about recovery also. It's not like you're recovering 18 months.
Right.
That's
right.
treatment.
Right.
And I had to learn how to separate treatment from recovery.
That's right. Because that's maintenance.
Yes.
Recovery is maintenance.
But if I don't have daily maintenance,
Yep.
and I ignore my own signals, I'm doomed to repeat
Absolutely.
my past. And I did have a pattern when I got too tired and too lonely. Those sayings that I heard, I went to the 12-step fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. And when I got there, I thought all those sayings were cliche, but they're real. You actually live those sayings, and it takes you to be committed to being in recovery. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But at the end of the day, I'm worth it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And thank you for your service. What do you see yourself in the future? Your role in the future? 'Cause you're
My
important.
role,
You're important.
My role, I was boots on the ground, and I loved it. And not to dance. I'm
Right,
talking
that's
about
right. No, I laugh because that is us.
where the fans at.
Right.
Okay, so, and I love the engagement.
Yeah.
But I did see myself being an advocate for the peer workforce.
Right.
So I'm in management now, and I'm advocating in a different arena. And I see myself being able to retire soon. I'm close to retirement, and I'm like, woo. But I want to stay civically minded, and I want to be in service. I like to have a reentry house, a couple of them, so I'm working with some people on,
Right.
Being able to establish and get my LLC.
Okay.
And that's where I see myself at, because the reentry makes you feel marginalized anyway.
Anyway. Yeah.
And the stigma is truly real. And especially if you have substance use and behavior health, you're co-occurring, so you have a lot going on. I see myself as a person that's still going to be in service and providing some natural resources for people to start over again.
Right.
And stay started. Just don't keep starting over. Stay on that path, and know that you may go up and down, but set some goals for yourself because you can achieve them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I look at my story. And from being the youngest of 5, so that comes with some personality traits if you're doing the ACEs like you say. So you already know.
Right.
Even though I went through all of those, it was masked with I still got everything I wanted. That type of thing. And I had resentments towards my mother I had to work out, even though I loved her dearly, and I still do today, that she's gone. Because she wouldn't leave. I wanted her to take me and go.
Right.
That was my dream. That was my Wizard of Oz dream. We going down a yellow brick road just leaving. And that didn't happen. But she did teach me how to be a strong female and be productive and be there for my children. And one thing I did tell my children, I can't teach you how to be a man. That's why I took you to your father. I don't know how that was going to work out for you, but I can show you how to be a loving and caring, respectful adult. That's what I can
That's strong.
do.
That's important.
That's what I can
As a mother, to say that to a son.
Yeah.
That's important. That's
And
very
so
important.
my sons, I wouldn't allow them to come see me when I was incarcerated, but they wrote and I still have their letters. And we was reading the letters the other day, and I used to like to cook a lot. Now, no, I don't like cook a lot. Right. And he was like, I miss your pork chops and those collard greens and the macaroni and cheese. And I said, well, you know, one day when I get enough rest, I'll do that deep meal again. But we just talked about where I was then and where I'm at now. I tried to show them you're never too old to keep growing. Right. Life teaches you lessons if you pay attention to it.
That's right.
See, I wasn't paying attention. Right. I was just let it go free. Right. I wasn't paying attention to my own lessons. And so those are the conversations we have now. They early 30s. And I had 2 sons, and I had them back to back. So they're like a year apart. Yeah. I was like, ooh, no more. And so we talk about life lessons like that.
Nice.
I never talk ill of their father because I didn't want to have them view me as a victim.
Yeah, right.
So I never disrespected them and with negative sayings and stuff, and they just recently lost their father. Oh, wow. I encouraged them to keep going and have that relationship, right. And they did. We do talk about recovery. I say you had both parents that were in active addiction, so you have to pay attention to how you perceive things, how you feeling about things, who you can trust to share these things with. If you're holding too much in and how that's going to make you react. We talk about those things.
That's really good.
Because I said, that's all I ever did was hold stuff in. Mm. So if you keep holding it in, it's going to come out some way, and it may be self-destructive.
Absolutely.
So,
you got a lot of wisdom that came from the pain.
Oh yes, they came from yes.
And we really appreciate you giving these nuggets of wisdom to the community, to the listeners, because it's going to reach some people. It's going to reach some people, and we never know who we helping.
No, and that's the beauty of peer support too, or being in the helping profession. Yep. You never know how you're going to affect someone. I worked when I first started in this field, and I've been in the medical field for years. One of the ladies, she wasn't too sure. She was ambivalent about recovery, and I, shared some things. And I did share. I don't have to go into real detail. If I tell you I'm a peer recovery specialist, I've navigated in my recovery journey from either mental health or substance use or both. So that qualifies me right there. And I told her, I say, but I always, push myself to want to do more. I challenge myself to learn something different or do something different and be around people that I wouldn't normally be around, because learning different things feeds your spirit and your mind. Never knowing some of the nuggets I was telling her, it would connect. And I'm a facilitator. I teach people how to be peer recovery specialists. And I saw the name and it looked familiar, and I didn't pay it any mind. So the first day of class, it was an in-person training. And she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, "No, baby, I'm so sorry." I wanted to be sympathetic. Right. And she told me who she was, and she told me how we met. And I said, "Wow, oh my God." Yep. And she told me some of the things that I told her. And at the time, I was giving her a little tough love because I said, everything you do, that's up to you. You're the author of your own story. Right. I said, and I learned that in my recovery process. And I'm never going to be ED recovered. I'm always recovering.
That's right.
And now she's a peer recovery specialist, registered and certified. And she took my training in November.
That is absolutely beautiful.
So, and I stay in contact with her. A lot of the ladies, I told them recovery is hard, and you're a new mother. Don't try to do everything. Just try one thing different. You can always go back. You can always go back. That door is always open.
Right.
Just try to change one thing.
Yep.
And if you try one thing, you may try something different.
That's right.
And try another one.
That's
and then you'll see that you can wake up with a freedom you didn't know you would have.
That's right.
And I don't just recover from drugs. See, that's the physical thing.
That's right.
I got that first. I had to recover from the trauma of the abuses of my past. I had to learn how to be able to financially support myself, even though I've been a worker. But that don't mean I knew how to save money and pay bills.
Yep.
So I had to learn. I had to learn a lot.
Right.
And I didn't start recovering till I was in my 40s. So that lets you kind of know where I'm at now.
That's
I
right.
tell you, I have almost 18 years. So,
That's right. That's right.
yeah, I had to learn a lot.
Yeah.
You know, even though I had privileges when I was always driving an automobile and this and that, it was the outside things. You know, that was one of the things my mother taught me. Always look your best. And didn't tell me I was a dressed up garbage can, you know, because the insides were messy. We never talked about that.
Right.
Yeah, so I learned that too. I didn't also go to just the recovery court and the 12-step fellowship. I went through therapy too, you know, and it was taboo in my neighborhood to say you're going to see a therapist or psychiatrist. No, you just didn't say those things.
Right.
And then that's why I say it's more opportunity to get well, to call 988, you know, call a warm line that's manned with people that's in recovery. It's a lot of opportunities out here. Being able to go to domestic shelters, have people to come pick you up. So it's a lot of opportunities for young women and men. Yeah.
That's right. Ma'am, thank you so much for these pieces of jewelry. I definitely need you to look right at that camera right there and say, my story, my voice.
My story, my voice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.